Two Brewers Release 19 and 20. 19, a very peated whiskey, and 20, a unique whiskey matured in maple syrup casks. You heard that right. Stay tuned for the Whiskey Whistle. What up, my whiskey people? Mark here from Whiskey Whistle on YouTube, sharing a little whiskey awesomeness from Winnipeg, the center of North America, bringing you a Two Brewers 2-Up with release 19 and 20. Now that's what the bottles look like. That's release 11 from a while ago. I just took that out to show you what it looks like. But here we're reviewing release 19, which just came to me right from the distillery. Thanks very much to Heather and to Dave Gardner over at Two Brewers for always looking after me here at Whiskey Whistle, sending me all of your whiskey since release number 3. Amazing. All right, let me get that 19 poured. Now this one we'll save for last because it is very peaty, and it's 46% ABV. According to my nose, it's the peatiest so far. Probably maybe 5 or 6 out of 8 barrels are fully peated. They get their peated malt from Port Ellen Maltings, I believe. Let me just cap that one. And we're going to start with release number 20. Now, as I mentioned, this is extra matured, rematured 5 times in a very unique maturation process where they've matured the whiskey first of all, and then they are going back and forth with a maple syrup producer who is making a very unique single forest maple syrup that is matured in Two Brewers casks. And they go back and forth 5 times. Very unique. This is 40% ABV, and they chose 40%, I think, because of the fact that it's very, very sweet. You can imagine a lot of sugars would get dissolved into the whiskey. Okay, I'll pour a nice healthy amount there. Is that enough? There we go. All right, so first of all, we're going to check out the color of release 19 and 20. And then we'll look at the legs. And then I'm going to review them separately, 20 first, and then 19. When you're tasting 2 different whiskeys together and one is peated and one is not, you should save the peaty one for last because it really does linger on your palate and influence how other whiskeys will taste, which could be good sometimes. You can play with that. But here for a review, I want to taste the 20-year-old maple syrup cask finished on its own with no other influences. Okay, so first of all, the color of these 2 whiskeys, let's have a look. The 19 is definitely lighter than the 20. You can see that. It's very plain as day. A nice golden hue for 19 and more like a coppery, almost maple syrup color. Medium maple syrup. Beautiful. Really excited about this. And maybe I can just read a little bit about that 20-year-old for you. This comes from Dave Gardner, the senior sales rep for the brand. The casks first had 2 brewers in them, and then maple, and then 2 brewers, and they repeated that about 5 times. New wood was used in the early stages, so it was new virgin oak. Probably, I'm guessing, number 3 char, but hopefully I'll hear from them. And this is 25% 7-year-old, 35% 9-year-old, and then 35% 10-year-old Two Brewers. So probably one of their older releases so far, I should say. This is right over here. Okay, so an older Two Brewers that the average age is somewhere around 9 years old, in fact. And the distiller Al, one of the Two Brewers, says that's their oldest release so far. They wanted to note that it's not simply maple syrup added into the whiskey. It's truly a single malt whiskey, not a flavored whiskey. And I have a picture of the bottle, a company called the Maple Ranch in Yukon, and it's whiskey barrel aged maple syrup. The maple syrup bottle talks about the fact that they've used Two Brewers. So a really nice cooperation between 2 companies to make something very unique, very Canadian, because maple syrup is as Canadian as it gets. All right, so enough talk. Let's get into the legs of release 20. We'll look at that first of all. I'm guessing they're going to be pretty syrupy. What I've heard is that there has been a lot of sugar from those casks that has been dissolved into the whiskey, so it should be pretty syrupy. Let's give that a look. Here we go. Oh yeah, look at how thick those legs are. Very thick. Very fast because it is 40%, but very, very thick legs, and they really hang on the glass. The secondary legs are very slow to start, and you see some just beginning to come down over here. Okay, let's have a quick look at the legs of release number 19, the peaty one. Here we go. Again, brisk first legs, and I'm guessing this is also 7-8-year-old whiskey. Might have a bit of 6-year-old in there. Very showy legs. The secondary legs are taking a very long time to start. Okay, put the cap back on and we'll get into release 20. All right, cheers everyone. Thanks for watching. On the nose, you simply get very beautiful Two Brewers, fresh, oaky, malty, slightly savory, umami style of a nose here. So a little bit of balsamic grilled mushrooms along with some very, very sweet malty tones. Beautiful vanilla, lots of caramel on the nose. It seems very salty. A little bit of a dark plum. Very candied. Well, I'm really excited to try this. I hear this is just a very, very unique, interesting, sweet whiskey. Okay, on to the palate. Cheers, everybody. Oh. There's a touch of smokiness in there. There is a big maple syrup hit there as well on the palate. We still have that grilled mushroom, sweet, kind of meaty tone in the palate alongside that maple syrup. Almost like you're having pancakes with maple syrup and crispy fried bacon. Oh, it's almost liqueur-esque in terms of how much sugar we have going on here, and I can feel it on my lips. And I guarantee you, oh, by the way, this is non-chill filtered and has no added coloring, which is fantastic for a Canadian whiskey. It's fantastic for a single malt whiskey. All right, now let me just put that on my finger and tell you about what I feel here when the whiskey dries away. Yeah, it's slightly sticky, telling you how much sugar has come from those maple syrup casks. And it's even sweet when I taste it, along with the sweat from my fingers. But it's really unique. Very Canadian. This would do incredible things in an old-fashioned, a Two Brewers maple syrup old-fashioned. Maybe you'll have to make one of those. And if you're going to make an old-fashioned with that, you don't need the sugar because this is sweet enough. I think I'll try that before we finish here. Okay, I'm going to add just a tiny little bit of water. Couple of drops. That's all we need there. You know, we should probably get onto the nose, the palate, and finish with water here first before we move into the peaty 19, release 19. Okay, with water, you do get a little bit more malty tones, a little bit more like a Speyside whiskey here. Something almost like a Mortlach. Yeah, that's a Mortlach nose. It is meaty, it's sweet, it's beefy, and very, very attractive. Cheers again. With water, the palate lightens up a little bit. You get a little bit of added grapefruit, the fruit in there. It becomes a little bit zestier, but you still have that delicious pancake maple syrup and bacon flavor coming through there. Long finish, very sweet, of course. A little bit of citrus, some spice, maple syrup, obviously. Well, that's really interesting. Very delicious, very unique, and something that I would absolutely buy. In fact, I'm trying to get one of those along with the maple syrup from Dave Gardner. Hopefully we'll work that out. All right, so let's get on to the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for release 20 from Two Brewers. What is that going to be, folks? It's going to be 90 out of 100. Yep, you heard it. 90 out of 100 is the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for this really, really unique, very sweet. Now, if you don't have a sweet tooth, this might not appeal to you, but I think most people are huge sweet tooth fans, so huge sweet toothed people. So make sure you try and get one of those if you're in Canada. Okay? Availability, probably predominantly available in Alberta, along with Yukon itself. I don't know if that's available in BC. I don't think it's available out east either. But you can always contact Dave Gardner or contact the company directly and see if there's a way to get yourself a bottle of that. All right, so now we're going to check out release 19. The nose, first of all, this is neat, 46% ABV. Right off the bat, I get Dr. Pepper, along with something kind of like a Springbanky or Ben Riach style of peat. It's smoky, it's sweet. A little bit of something very medicinal here. So a little bit of antiseptic. But it's very peaty. Dr. Pepper is probably the best description I can say of what this smells like. Well, let's get on to the palate. Cheers, folks. I think we have some virgin oak going on here. Some fresh sawn oak, maybe a bit of cedar. That Dr. Pepper there, very smoky. Antiseptic. Medicated Band-Aids. Earthy. Fertilizer soil you get for potted plants that has a lot of peat in it. You get a bit of that here as well. Stewed apples. A little bit of marzipan coming through. The peating, again, not quite up to Bowmore, maybe more like Macklemore or Ben Romach in terms of how peaty this is. I know one fella that would really like that, and that is my next in command at the Winnipeg Whiskey Club, James Burton. I'll make sure you get a taste of that, okay? I think I'm going to be burnt after this, but we're going to run with it. Absolutely looking red. Uh-oh. Just really nice. I don't get very much in the way of the savory component here as I do in the unpeated versions of Two Brewers. And we're going to add a fair bit of water here, maybe about 10 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. So release 19 with water added. Let's see what happens here. Fresher on the nose. More of that freshly sawn oak and cedar here. Lots of cinnamon, lots of vanilla. A little bit of sweet orange. Slightly smoky as well. And the palate, cheers. More of the stewed baked apples. Baked apples with the marzipan in there. Some definite wood smoke. Antiseptic still there. Lots of vanilla, bit of ginger, smoky, really nice. The finish is very long, sweet, a hint of smoke, a puff of smoke there. Very oily. It's very oily on the palate. They talk about some stone fruits, and I'm getting more of this baked apple. But plum, definite plum in there. All right, well, let's get on to the WhiskyWhistle Whiskey Score for release 19 from Two Brewers. What is that going to be, folks? It's going to be 90 out of 100. Yep, you heard it. 90 out of 100 is the WhiskyWhistle Whiskey Score for Two Brewers release 19. Very, very peated, very delicious, well put together. Lovely. Now, don't go away. I'll be right back. We're going to make that old fashioned. All right, so I've got my Angostura bitters in there, a little bit of water. Okay, and to that we are going to add our Two Brewers release 20. I think we need a little bit more in there, just a dash more. Hopefully I will get a bottle of that. All right, and I'm going to add a little bit of lime zest. Just throw that in there, mix it all in. Now it calls for a jigger of whiskey. I probably should have put more in, but I think that's pretty good. And you could add club soda if you wanted, although that isn't standard. All right, so that is the Two Brewers Release 20 maple syrup cask matured whiskey as an old fashioned. Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. totally sweet enough. Very refreshing. Delicious. I think that is an ideal serve for this very, very sweet, delicious, candy-like Release 20. Well, hope you enjoyed that. So 90 points for the both of these. Excellent whiskeys from Two Brewers, as always. Thanks very much again to everybody at Two Brewers, and to Dave Gardner, and to Heather, Director of Marketing. So great job. And make sure you subscribe to the channel right over here. Hit the little bell emblem so that you're notified of the future Whiskey Whistles. And if you're in Winnipeg and you'd like to try some Two Brewers, jump in and join the Winnipeg Whiskey Club, as I think I'm probably going to open this Release 11 this summer for our barbecue. Okay? Take care, everybody. We'll see you for the next one. Goodbye now.